Hey guys, it's Jimmy here and welcome back to Stock Car Extreme for another video. Today I'm going to be looking at the C.A.R.T Factor Extreme mod. They've tagged the Extreme on now, obviously, because you have to do that. We're talking about game stock car nowadays. And this is a conversion from the R Factor 1 mod by the same name, C.A.R.T Factor, which to a lot of people, including myself, is one of the best mods you can drive on R Factor. Now, there's been a lot of hype around this version because people see game stock car as sort of an R Factor 1.8. You know, better tyres, a little bit better physics, a little bit more up to date. You know, graphically pretty similar, but you know we aren't going to really talk about that too much. And yeah, like it's demanded a lot of attention. So I thought, you know, I'll look at it, show you guys my opinions on it, and let you guys know where you can get it if you're interested. So here we are then, Laguna Seca. Now, before I get started, I have a bit of a confession to make. I've already recorded this video. I almost started editing it, and then I spoke to a couple of my friends. I wanted to get a sort of idea of how they were setting up the car, because I felt that with the settings that I had, that the car didn't do anything that I thought it was meant to. And you know, I almost did a case of Inside Sim Racing where I reviewed it with the base setup, judged it on that, and then moved forward. That is something that you should not be doing with C.A.R.T Factor, and I really cannot stress that enough. I nearly released a video condemning this mod because I couldn't drive it, which is pretty awful. Having spoken to my friends, you can see in the bottom right corner the diff settings that I put in there. This has made the car about 400 times more drivable, and I've also gone to the hard tyres, whereas before I was on the soft. I believe the hard tyres are actually better tyres to drive on than the soft tyres in this mod. If you get up to a certain temperature of the soft tyres, they just go off the cliff pretty much straight away, and you can't actually turn the car anymore, which is very interesting and very difficult to say the least. But anyway, that behind us, let us drive the thing, sitting in the pit lane here, and we're going to shift into first gear. We're at, let's say, Laguna Seca, so we have the very annoying pit exit that I'm probably going to miss in this video. It's one of my actual talents in life is to miss the video, miss the, the exit, sorry. And straight away we're going to notice our first improvement to this mod from the R Factor 1 version. In the R Factor 1 version, when you shift it up, you have to lift on the throttle, sort of like you do in early sequential cars, etc. So you avoid the over rev. That happened in the R Factor 1 version, and that was not the case in the real life cars. So in this mod, I'm so glad they fixed it. They have fixed the upshift, so you can keep your foot flat when you're upshifting without having that over rev, and you know, potentially in a slower corner a spin, which is always very nice. So I am driving the Newman Haas car. I think the Fittipaldi version, and that is pretty much as far as my knowledge of C.A.R.T goes. The power behind me is I think a Ford engine, producing around 850 horsepower on a single turbo, I think it is. And the car weighs about 750 kilos, give or take a couple of kilos each way. And it feels like it weighs a lot, especially in the corners. You can feel it sort of sluggish. There's something else as well. The power application on this, whilst quite brutal at the top end, I actually think it's quite sluggish. It's a very sluggish sort of power, not very immediate like F1 cars. And when I say F1 cars, I mean the F1 cars I have driven in various sims, not the ones in real life, because I've never driven one of those, so how can I possibly compare, hey? So we're going to just run around, let the tyres warm up a little bit, don't go too fast round. You can see me braking very early there and still overshooting the corner. Due to the weight of these things, you have to brake early. You have to brake very early in the corners, and the fact that you're travelling so fast before you get there that you know, it all sort of compounds the situation. It becomes very interesting when you come to a corner, especially at over speed, which is very difficult and very fun at the same time. I've been driving this mod since yesterday, and as I said before, with the wrong settings installed into the car is a mess. It doesn't do anything you want it to do. It feels like the mod's broken inherently, that's what it feels like, which is pretty bad, and I'm not quite sure why mod makers continue to do this. They continue to put the worst possible setup drivable on the car, and because the thing is, like I very nearly did, people take their first impression from that setup, and they they have that thought as fact in their mind, and I almost did that as well, and I would have given that opinion to 3,000 people, which would have been wrong. But with the right setup, the car is a lot better to drive. It does feel very heavy. We're going to start getting on the power now. I haven't actually, I usually shorten the gears a bit for this track. See, we're going into 6th a bit early there. Shifting down to 2nd gear for the first corner. Kind of running a bit wider here, letting the power come in slowly, and then once you're facing a straight line you can really smash it. Stay in 3rd here because you want to keep the car from not spinning. You really do feel the weight in these sort of corners. There is downforce there, but you have to balance it with the weight of the car and the power, as you can see there, getting about 150 horsepower all at once there. Really causing me to spin, and there the understeer coming in. Before feedback is something I still do want to mention though. Whilst it isn't terrible, it isn't as good as it could be, I feel. Especially when you look at the rest of the game stock car and how that sort of presents itself here. I'm having to really almost second guess a lot of my turns. There are occasions if I make a mistake where I'm not entirely sure why. You tend to feel that through the wheel in other sims and in game stock car as well, but in this one sometimes I don't feel everything I need to. Through there, for example, I felt almost nothing. The tyres felt like they weren't connected to the track. Maybe they weren't. But through the OSP stuff it is a lot better, I must say. And I do enjoy these hard tyres over the soft ones. I'll reiterate that. Again, the soft tyres, if you put too much heat into them, become these, well, it becomes iRacing, so you want to be careful of that. You don't want to become iRacing, especially for the physics. So in the graphics department, which I don't tend to pay much attention to when racing, but I think it's notable here. From on board, it does look like it could be, you know, a Risa mod. It could be from Risa Studios themselves, and that's pretty flattering, I think, as far as graphics go. You know, Game Stock Car and R-Factor and all those G-Motor sims aren't the best looking things in the world, but it doesn't matter. They all handle pretty sweetly, and that's what we're looking for and aiming for in this. Now, the mod, as I mentioned before, does come with different chassis. We're in one of them. We're in the Swift. There's a Lola, the Reynard, and I think the Penske is the last one. Please, die-hard kart fans, correct me if I'm incorrect. And this is a historic mod, so they are all slightly different. Again, we have different engines as well. I'm in a, I think this has a Ford engine in it. Again, please don't murder me, die-hard kart fans. Also a Mercedes, a Toyota, and a Honda. There might be one more I'm forgetting about, and if I am, very sorry. But the Toyota is definitely, you know, the weakest of the engines and the weakest of the cars, really. The Swift chassis, funnily enough, and because it's historic, it makes it more fun. It's sort of like, I don't know, 7 out of 10 on the road courses, but then it's pretty sort of 10 out of 10 on oval, which I like. I like all the cars have different strengths, and there aren't really many decent ovals on game stock cars, so I won't be showing any of that today, unfortunately. But that is there available to drive as well. I'm just sort of cruising around. You can see, you know, I'm down in my best time. Really not putting much effort. It's very hard to drive this thing at the edge and talk at the same time. It's, you know, it goes back to that, you know, saying that race cars are easy to drive until you drive them fast, and this is very much the case of this thing. Lots of power behind you. I'm still sort of torn between which version I prefer, though, in honesty. I do like the R-Factor 1 version. The shifting is probably the thing that irks me most about it, having to lift off during the upshift, which this does cure. But I don't know. You know, there's something about the game stock car version which doesn't quite feel as positive as the R-Factor version. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because game stock car has the improved tire model, etc., etc., but it's not quite there. But it's still very good. Like, it's still good, and the original version of Kart Factor is one of the best mods, or the best mod if you're Mr. Orr in R Factor, and it is so for a reason, you know. And this one, although it's just a conversion, you'd have thought it would be just a matter of sticking some files on there and copy and pasting, etc. But it's not quite, unfortunately. I mean, it's like porting. A good example would be GTA from, you know, the PS3 or PS4 to the PC. You know, oh god, that's something I want to talk about very quickly. Is the bump on this track. This being another conversion. There are landmines, and I just hit one, which is great because I wasn't on a tangent or anything. But we'll try and ignore that like it didn't happen and go back to what I was saying. 10 out of 10 though for continuing. Actually, as you can see, damage is off for a very good reason. But yeah, like I was saying, it's like porting mod over from the PS3 or PS4 onto the PC, or, you know, porting GTA over. Give it time. There are still going to be bugs with it. It's probably not going to run as well, but it's still pretty good, which is the case, I think, for this version of Top Kart Extreme. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video there. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave a mod in the description for those who want to go test it out for themselves. It's just late pit lane entry. There it is. Fantastic. Best pit lane entry 2014. 2015, ah shit. Yeah, go try it out. If you're a kart fan, you're going to love it. And if you're not, try it out anyway and set yourself an awesome challenge. Thank you for watching, guys. Have an awesome day, and I will catch you all next time.